Hello, welcome back to our podcast. This is Gabriel, your host, and day 2 of the round of 16 has gone by, and we have 2 more teams that have qualified to the quarterfinals. Early in the morning, the game was between France and Poland, and France with a 3-1 win, an early goal in the first half, right before the halftime, scored by Olivier Giroud, assisted by Mbappe, and then. In the last 15 minutes of the game, there were 2 goals by Mbappe, who's really looking like he's going to become the top scorer of this World Cup. And it's giving all the indications that a new era will soon begin in the world of soccer. So 3 goals by France, and then a very, very late goal by Lewandowski via penalty kick to set the score 3-1 for France. It looked like Poland was never a challenger. France controlled the game for the most part and cruised to an easy victory, setting them a spot for the quarterfinals for the game that's going to happen next Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Second game of the day today was between England and Senegal, and like in the previous case, there were no surprises here. England cruised to a 3-0 victory, goals by Henderson, Kane, and Saka, and with a very good performance by Bellingham and another player that looks to be shaping to be one of the top players in the next 5 years. As mentioned, Senegal posed no challenge to the English team, and now we do have our second quarterfinal game, which is going to happen on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's going to be a big game between France and England. Only one of those 2 will advance to the semifinals. Let's hear from our under-21 men's team captain and play-by-play commentator, Rowan Fisler.
Second match day gone of the knockout stages, and it was another 2 good quality games today. France and Poland making up the first of those 2. France winning 3-1, even though it probably should have been 3-0. Lewa a little lucky to come away with a second penalty take, seeing as he stuttered so much during his first one. So it is hard to stay on your line and for the players to stay out of the box. Anyways, France just looked to be all the more convincing, a lot more dangerous on the attack and the counter-attack. And just Kylian Mbappe, what a player. Just lighting this World Cup on fire just like he did the last one. And it's really just Mbappe's world, and we all just live in it. You know, I wouldn't say it's that outlandish to call him the best player on the planet right now. Current form, there's really nothing you can do to stop him all that much. Even Matty Cash had a good game against him and he still scored twice. But yeah, France with the great results. Shove kept a clean sheet, unlucky with the penalty call, but a great performance all around. England and Senegal. England the better team on paper and in principle, winning 3-0 against Senegal. An interesting game to say the least. I went into the game thinking that Senegal had a chance. I even said that Senegal would win. Now, I forgot to send my video clips in yesterday, so that's my bad. But now I don't really look all that bad because I didn't get that one wrong, and I could just say I got it right, even though I'm going to say I got it wrong because that's responsibility. And yeah, but Senegal out of the World Cup now, and that leads to a France-England quarterfinal, which should be very, very interesting. I'm very excited to watch that match, seeing as I support France, and I am an England hater. So it's going to be a fun match to watch. It's going to be a great match for me, and I cannot wait. Tomorrow has some interesting matches. We're going to start off with Japan against Croatia. This is an interesting match for me because, for me, it's hard to get a read on Japan, just like it should be for everyone, seeing as they can go and beat Germany and Spain 2-1, but they can't beat Costa Rica. Feels weird because they can repel around like 80% possession and just Spain passing around the back the whole game, and they can sit in a block for a long time and withstand that pressure. But when they're playing a lesser opponent in Costa Rica, they crumble. Now, on paper, you probably say that Croatia is a better opponent than Japan, so you use the Spain and Germany logic, but they're not like a giant like Spain and Germany are regarded as in world football-wise. So I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw at full-time, and either through added extra time or penalties, I'm going to say Croatia wins 2-1 and moves on. I do think Japan can do it, and that's why I'm giving them a draw, and then it's kind of just up to who wants it more. or who it can withstand more. But I'm going to say Croatia because I feel like they're the more talented side. And I think that it would be cool for Japan to carry on their Cinderella story. But all Cinderella stories do have an ending, and I think it will be here, unfortunately. On to Brazil against South Korea. I think that South Korea are lucky to be here in the first place. Playing a side in Portugal where they rested and they didn't really give their best go at the game. They didn't need to, which gave, South Korea the benefit of the doubt, especially when Uruguay won their fixture and probably deserved to go through more. Seeing the first 2 games from Uruguay, maybe not, but the last game they played really well against Ghana. And it is disappointing to not see Uruguay move on, from my perspective at least. I know that Gabe and Santi and Flo and all the rest will be happy seeing as another South American side is out. Arch rival, some would say. But I'm disappointed from just a pure football standpoint. That being said, though, I'm going to say Brazil wins 3-0. They're much better than South Korea. South Korea did have some heroics, as said, against Portugal, but Brazil is just too good. They're just such a balanced team, and they just have so much talent and finesse and flair in their team, and it's just a really well-oiled team. I think they're going to go far, and I think they're going to kick off the knockout stages with a bang and a 3-0 win.
Let's hear what our technical director, Santiago, has to say.
Busy day of football today with obviously 2 games, round of 16 yesterday. Argentina with the big win yesterday. So going into today, we were looking at some... hopefully some more upsets, but unfortunately it was another one of those days where the favorites finally brought everything they had and got some big wins. Started with France. They got a big win against Poland. Poland started relatively well, but as soon as Giroud scores, it's pretty much game over. Giroud scored his 52nd goal, meaning that he's broken the record for all-time French goal scorer. I've always said Giroud's a hell of a player, so it's good to see him kind of get his rewards. He did score an offside bicycle kick. Well, that was disallowed because the goalie got hurt, but it was an incredible goal. And then from there, it was the Mbappe show. Mbappe's proving that he still should be in contention for best player in the world, and with the performance he put on today, I don't think anybody's doubting that. We're all looking forward to next week's game. For France, who are now going to play England, who got a big 3-0 win against Senegal. That's been probably the least even game we've seen so far, or we've seen in a while. Senegal really didn't have much to offer against England. England scored early, right before the half, and then just kept it going in the second half to bring the results their way. So overall, a relatively decent day for football. Now looking into the schedule for tomorrow. Tomorrow we've got another busy day of football with Japan-Croatia at 10 a.m. That one I'm hoping Croatia gets a win. And then Brazil-South Korea. Again, Croatia, Japan, it's a little bit closer. Brazil, South Korea, unless Brazil has a really shocking day, I don't see them losing any points against South Korea. South Korean story has been, fantastic, interesting to watch with some of their players scoring goals and then, becoming Instagram celebrities. So it'll be cool to see them compete one more time, but I don't see them. I don't see Brazil losing to them. I see Brazil winning 2-0 and Croatia probably winning 2-1 or 2-0 themselves. So looking forward to another good day. Make sure you give us a follow. The podcast is now coming out on Apple Podcasts, so just look up FC Berlin or From Berlin to Doha and follow us, give us a rating. We might change it up now that it's we're going into the round of 16, after this the quarterfinals, so we'll change up the content, have a little bit more engaging and more of a professional production so we can really enjoy what's left of this fantastic tournament. It's been, in my opinion, the best World Cup maybe ever so far.
Live from Virginia, US, here's Freddy Terzoglio with his opinion.
Hi. So tomorrow's games are South Korea against Brazil. Obviously, I'm going to have to pick Brazil. South Korea just doesn't have the game to stand with them. So pick on that one. Brazil. No score from me, just as long as they win, I'm correct, right? On the game of Japan against Croatia. So Japan has definitely been a force to be at least recognized, and they've definitely put up some nice surprises in beating both Spain and Germany. So it's a very tough one. I think Croatia is still a good team and still always manages to find a way to tie when starting under and then surpass and win. So even though I would prefer to see Japan pass, I think it's going to be a Croatia win.
Here's our under 21 women's team captain, Florencia.
Yeah, and I think tomorrow in the round of 16, I'm predicting that Japan is going to win, and although I really want South Korea to win, I do think that Brazil is going to beat them. Maybe like it's going to be super close and then Brazil gets like the last minute goal, but I want Korea to win, but I think Brazil's going to win.
Tomorrow we have Japan against Croatia at 10 a.m. and then Brazil against South Korea at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So Japan and Croatia, a clash of two teams that got there surprisingly, if I have to say, especially Japan. Japan beat Spain and they beat Germany in order to win their group. So definitely the candidate going to into this game, I expect Japan to win probably like a 2-0 victory against Croatia. Second game of the day is going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern Time between Brazil and South Korea. Everything indicates that Brazil is going to have Neymar available for tomorrow's game. That should be too much for the South Korean team. But then, yet again, except for today, this is the World Cup of surprises. So anything could happen. I will say Brazil will narrowly edge South Korea tomorrow. I expect a 1-0 or a 2-1 win. I will go with 2-1.